You can see I'm being quite gentle there. I'm a long way from the chuck, so there's quite a lot of torque out here. So I've got this very sharp and I'm doing very light cuts. And as I get closer to the edge, I turn the wing of the cutter away because I don't want this outside wing here to touch the inside face of that. So I turn it away and just gently cut in the opposite direction, very gently. Down the bottom in here, hopefully you can see that there's a line that I'm cutting at, and I'm actually watching that piece down the bottom there as I cut up here. Obviously I watch my tool into place, and then I start to turn my attention away from the point where the tool is actually touching down to the bottom of the cut, and I can see the line that I'm cutting. So on. There you can see how far we've got. Now obviously I'm going to continue down. We've just got to remember that's the narrowest point, so I'm aiming to give myself an even wall thickness all the way down. I might go a little bit thinner than this, but it won't be much thinner. Although this beech is very hard, it will take a much thinner wall thickness. I just don't want to lose this bark because it'll tend to want to come off if it gets too thin. So I'll keep going and I'll get back to you when we're a little bit further on. So here you can see now that it's getting quite thin. It's you know, it's really thin here, but I want to try and make the rest of it the same thickness. So I'm using this power file now just to create some contours in here that match the outer contours, and obviously then I'm going to refine this surface again. I'm just bulk removing at the moment. And you can see here that I've marked the thinnest bit so that I don't go below that, because that is quite thin. I'm using my calipers here just to set that to there. There's the caliper set. It's showing you that that we're about 3 mil thick. Okay, so here we are. A little bit further on now. I've smoothed this out and got it down to an even wall thickness. It does get a little bit thicker towards the edge because I need to keep this bark edge, and you can see what I've done is I've cut this off now, taken this off, because trying to hollow this out with this spinning round is very dangerous because this edge here is quite sharp. And also I want to do kind of a feature here where I add another layer of wood to the outside as a feature. So I've taken that away, just simply parted it off. I'll clean that up later, although actually a lot of this will be hidden within the wood so you won't see that. So now I've got to hollow this out, and it's just a simple case of bulk hollowing this out and getting the wall thickness down, and then I can start working on the exterior feature that I want to put here. Now and again I scrape back to do that. Now this is a little tool I made myself. It's just got a piece of planer blade that I drilled the hole in carefully, screwed onto the end of a bar, and obviously it's sharpened in a rounded format there, so I can then use it as a scraper in the bottom, and since it's quite a long tool I can use it to hollow out. So we're getting quite deep now, so I'll keep stopping and emptying the debris out, and I do that with this vacuum I've got. It's a dust extractor, a large hose, get most of the debris out like that. And so you can see down the bottom now how far down I'm getting. Okay, so we're pretty much bottomed out now on here, just a little bit of cleanup and sanding to do inside, and then we can start making the decorative piece collar, shall we call it, around here. Just been doing some sanding here with this the little pad thing that I made. It's just a bar with a flat sheet on the end, and then stuck on the end of that is some rubber, and then coating that is some Velcro. And again, it's just a normal tool handle. But what this allows me to do is take this Abronet and stick it on like that, and then I can work that into the inside of this, which I'll show you. And then work my way up through the grits to get a nice smooth interior finish. Okay, so what you can see here is the piece that I'm going to make the collar out of, and you can see that I've just mounted it on the lathe on a screw chuck, brought the tailstock up to give it a bit of pressure here, and I'm just taking this part down here, which was the thinnest part of the piece, you can see I've not quite got down here, to the size that I want to be the outside point of the collar around the vase neck. So that will sit around here, so I need it to be slightly bigger than that. So what I've done is I've measured that with my calipers, got myself a little bit bigger. It's only a few mil bigger, and now I need to take this down so that that fits snugly over that, and that's what I'll do next. So I still want a little bit of bark here. It's the whole point of this vase is that it has a natural edge. So just a little bit more now. So I've just confirmed the measurement on the vase. A little bit more. Just want to take a little bit more of this out. I do want it to be like a collar all the way around, so I just need to come down till I've got that. And if I put my caliper on that bit there, I'm still not quite able to get round, so I can go down to that. So this is now down to the height that I want. So now what I need to do is I need to cut this back to give myself the flare that I need for the top. And so I've got to be careful here because I don't want to do too much work here. Obviously I need to take this out, but I want to leave some of this natural edge in there. That's the whole point of it. So I'll do that. So there you can see the start of shaping this, and I need this rustic edge to it so that I can create a natural edge on the finished article. So now what I've done is I've reversed it. I've cut a dovetail and reversed it, and so this is now going to be the top, the part that sits over the top of this. So I've now got to make that be the right shape for that. So I've got to hollow this out and then put this down so that this low part here matches up with this low part here, and hopefully the high part at the back here will match up with the high part. So we'll see how we get on. I'll just start doing that now. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to cut down a slot into here, the same diameter as the end of this, so that that will definitely go down. So I'm going to cut that diameter down into it to the point where it lines up. It's deep enough with that, and then I can place that in and work my way in, contouring it as I go. So let's do a little bit of that. This root is really hard stuff, but it's got some really nice grain in it as well, so hopefully that'll show up in the finished piece. Okay, so now I've gone down as deep as I need to go, and what I've done is I've created a lip inside which is going to match up with this. So that lip is going to rest against this part of the vase, and so what I need to do is I need to cut out enough of the wood here to take this curve, which is slightly further in on here than this one is, so it'll leave more wood on here, and then take out the extra piece of wood that's going to match up with that manually with a sanding tool. So this outer line here is the extent to which I want to cut back to. I've been working for a little while now on the fit of this, and you can see here I've marked an alignment mark, so I'll keep putting it back in the same place. And you can see it's still tight in a few places, down the bottom in there and there, but you can still see there's quite a big gap here. Now as that sets back in, and there's a, I don't know if you can see that there, yeah, there's still quite a lip in the back there, so that's still got maybe 6mm to sit down into that, so hopefully a lot of this will tighten up. And I've just got to keep sanding away at the inside of this, working on the profile of this, so it, as you can see there, it's fairly straight and then comes out, and you can see I'm starting to get that profile here. It's just getting the right angle. Since this was sanded and carved by hand, so does this have to be sanded and carved by hand. You can't just turn it. So I'm going to keep doing that until that's a much nicer fit, and then I'll work on the outer finish again by hand, because again it's not circular at any point on here. It's it has to match the contours of this, so I'll get it down so that it's at the highest point here, and then take the rest of it down by hand. So here we have the piece now, a little bit further on. I've done some sanding at this edge and cleaned up the top edge of this. This is now getting quite thin, and so that fits the top part of the vase. Now what I need to do is to do the same sort of operation but for the bottom part of the vase. However, there's nothing really to get a grip of, so I've made a mandrel to hold it that fits very snugly into the piece, and you can see that's really got it. There's no glue, there's nothing there at all, but that's got it. That's just pressured in. So I'm just going to clean up some of this edge here. You can see I've attacked it with the angle grinder a little bit, so I'm going to finish cleaning this up down to this line here, which you can see where I've already done the cut, and that then will continue the sweep across. I then have to do the inside cut so it fits the vase, and then come back to the outside to follow that curve so that I keep it nice and thin like I've got here. So I'll do a little bit of work on that now. So there you can see I've taken it down, and this piece here is not perfectly circular anymore because I've sanded it to meet the contour of the top part, and you can see that in certain places we're almost at the same level here, and I want to leave it like that because again I'm going to have to hand sand this to contour and blend it into this uneven bit here, but the rest of this should be turnable and should be perfectly circular by the time I'm finished. Here you can see that I'm hollowing out now into the bottom of it. I've turned away that stub that I had earlier. Here you can see I'm hollowing out into the bottom now. I've removed the tailstock, and now what I need to do is just take some of the bulk out of here down till I meet the spigot, and then I can start profiling it to match the bottom of the vase, which you can see here. So this profile is what I'm trying to get on the inside of this piece here.